Money world.
My trip from Rico to Estes was about 8.5 hours long, and it took me through a lot of terrain I haven't been through before. From Rico, I went to Telluride and up through Glenwood Canyon, and took kind of the back way to Estes Park through Black Hawk and Nederland, and it's just really pretty drive. And if you want to see it, I have the 8.5 hours kind of compressed down to highlights in 15-minute time lapse. And it's really hypnotic to watch, so you'll probably enjoy it. It's got some decent music that keeps up to the pace of the driving. Hypnotic. While here in Estes, I plan on talking to a couple friends, getting them on the podcast. I'm going to do some cruising through the national park. I'm going to be getting some footage up Old Fall River Road and Trail Ridge Road. And now that I think about it, Colorado is just home to a lot of my favorite drives. Like I said, Glenwood Canyon, going through the Eisenhower Tunnel, up Trail Ridge Road, up Fall River Road to get to Trail Ridge Road. Driving through Glen Haven and going through the Narrows down to Loveland is really pretty. The Pikes Peak Drive is wonderful. The $1 Million Highway between Durango and Silverton is amazing. And of course the Peak to Peak Highway from I-70 up through Estes Park, through Nederland. Just gorgeous, gorgeous views. I highly recommend it. Enjoy the scenery. I am in Estes Park, and I'm going to sit down with my friend Pete here at Ed's place and talk about the rest of Pete's trip with his schoolie. We wanted Longs Peak as the backdrop out on Ed's property, but it started to storm when we set up the equipment, and it rained throughout the shoot, so all you get is the interior of my van. So you get what you get. Now let's hear from Pete. This is Pete Whitlock.
Hi.
We've already done a podcast with him, and this is part 2. We're going to kind of think about where we left off before and continue on with his little story about his bus build and his bus traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened after we last spoke? You were parked at a bridge.
Yeah, so that was at Flaming Gorge that picture was taken at with the big spanning bridge.
Mm-hmm.
From there, I went up north to Idaho, to Lava Hot Springs.
Okay.
So I spent a couple nights there, soaking and having fun up there. I just stayed, because there wasn't much dispersed camping right there close to where town was.
Okay.
Because it's in this really, like, shallow canyon.
Okay.
So the town just runs along the river. And so I just stayed at a KOA because it was the easiest.
Well, and that's a good place to plug in,
Yeah.
recharge stuff, get a shower, all that business. So yeah, there's no shame in the KOA.
No. Except for I'm not a fan of KOA.
Yeah, no, not a fan at all. It's like moving into an allotment when you want to be out in the wilderness.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, it has its purpose. So yeah.
Yeah, and I stayed at a couple of them on that whole month-long April trip, just because either Wi-Fi
That's the other thing.
Because some of
yeah,
those
the other
towns
perk.
in Utah that I was staying in, like there was like one bar,
Yeah.
and I can't do anything with
One bar.
One bar.
Right,
so
right.
I was just like, and there is some work that I did on the road. So KOA, Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Watch a movie.
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
And then I headed once I got up through Idaho, I hit up 5 more hot springs.
Cool.
And they were the hobo hot springs, so
Okay.
you didn't have to pay. You just had to hike into them.
Okay.
And when that happens, there tends to be a lot of naked people at those springs,
Sure.
which is great.
Yeah, it comes with the territory.
It does, totally. But I got lucky on 3 of them where I had most of the spring to myself for most of the time.
That's cool.
And then just hike on out and
Mm-hmm.
call it good. And then usually I just stay in the parking lot next to the hot spring.
Right.
Go in the morning.
Okay.
Again. Yeah.
Double dip.
Yeah, you make your coffee, you bring it with, and call it good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So with that, as you were moving along, things settle, you figure out where things are more handy. Since you've been back, have you thought about rearranging your setup at all? Or are you pretty happy with its layout? Or are there additions you're gonna think about doing?
Yeah. For the most part, like the design on where things are worked out real well.
Yeah.
Like, because I'd be moving around so much in the space as I was building, like I can kind of get the idea of like that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So I already rebuilt a few things before I actually left on the trip, but additions, well, finishing it up for one thing, because it's about 95% complete.
Yeah.
There's some like trim and other things that I got to finish.
Sure.
up
Yeah,
on.
I saw that in the bus.
Also finish out the dark room and the bathroom itself. That's the last big project, but I can't do anything at the moment because I broke my leg.
Yeah.
So I'm up on crutches for the next 6-8 weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean that's my summer of build.
Right. Now, with traveling around in the bus, we know it's from the last episode that it's moving pretty slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How was that ride coming home?
I mean, the ride was fine. It's just excruciatingly slow on a lot of the hills.
Yeah.
Like coming from Glenwood up to the Eisenhower Tunnel through getting up that pass. I mean, it's a good thing it's 3 lanes going up. Because I was in the far right lane and I was doing like 25.
Right, with the semis.
Yeah. And it was snowing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it was coming down pretty hard then.
Right.
So, and I did it right as the snow was starting because I didn't want it to accumulate on the road.
Yeah.
Because you have to have chains on certain kinds of car.
Sure.
Over a weight.
Yeah.
And I'm just over.
Yeah.
So I'd have to have chains, and I didn't have chains. So I was just like, I'll just go now and drive through the snow. And I got there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just turn on the hazards.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in the right lane. And just go.
Yeah, just go.
Mm-hmm. So that wasn't bad. Like it's just the passes that I go down pretty low in speed.
Yeah.
But once I get to the flats, it's great.
Right.
If I do anything 60 or over, then my gas mileage just tanks.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing 50, 55, it's great all day.
Yeah.
So.
Now, between point A and point B, which I guess is the same place, since you went out and came back.
Right.
With no real destination.
Mm-hmm.
Any unusual things happen along the way? Any unique experiences? Meet somebody cool? Anything like that?
I did meet some cool people.
Yeah.
I met him in Mystic Hot Springs.
Okay.
And it's Mystic Hot Springs. Look it up if you've never seen it. It's just like this hippie little hideaway out in the middle of the desert. Small town, but they have the old clawfoot tubs that the water pours into up on the side of the hill, and you can sit in a little 2-person tub. And there's a couple of them spread out there, and one major one with a big waterfall coming down. Met some pretty cool people from LA out there.
Yeah.
And then some other ones, LA, and a few others. But it was a fun time there.
Mm-hmm.
They have a whole string of school buses you can stay in.
Oh, that's cool.
Rent them out.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not fixed up near as well as
yours.
no, it's like kind of a piecemeal of like whatever furniture they had laying around, and it's
Gotcha.
kind of stuck in there with a bed in the back and
Yeah.
everything. But aesthetically, like from the outside, it's dope,
Yeah.
and it's a fun little thing there. So I spent 2 nights there.
Yeah.
no rules, seriously. Like, there's maybe a couple rules, and that's it.
Yeah.
I did go off the road one time, and that was my second day driving. I went off the road.
Oh, shit.
And that's because I did some dumbass move. And I had like little portable speakers, and I had sitting up on my my dash. Something knocked it over, and I went down to pick it up. Took my eyes off the road for like seriously no time. And by the time I looked up, I was off the road.
Shit.
And then grabbed the wheel and pulled back. But I didn't hit any of the reflectors or anything. I didn't hit anything.
Yeah.
And
Good.
it was enough of a shallow shoulder off the side that like I didn't tip over.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything like that. I pulled over right away.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's super scary.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. If it falls over, whatever.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Pull
gone.
over. Pull over if you really need it.
Yeah.
But like, don't. Yeah.
Same
no.
thing in this van.
Yeah.
It just takes just a slight deviation from that steering, and you're sideways. So yeah.
And I did slow down before I even like reached down. That I was aware of. Like,
Yeah.
I slowed down and I had my foot on the brake, but like just reaching down, just that little much, I was off the road.
Yeah. Now that tour was kind of the first time you've ever done anything like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the bus, you just haven't really done a road trip like that before.
Not for a month. I mean, like a long weekend. Sure.
Any lessons learned?
Yeah, kind of pick your destinations. You know, find out like, you know, spend some time in the morning drinking your coffee or whatever else and looking at a map. Like if you ever already have it planned out, like before you even leave, if you're gonna keep it kind of open-ended, which I like doing.
Yeah.
Because I might get to a spot and then I might want to be there for a couple days.
Right.
You know, I don't have that itinerary.
Yeah.
So spend some time in
Well,
there.
yeah, I always run with a loose itinerary, you know, because you got to have a place to go, and once you get there, something to do, so you're not just sitting in the van going, why the fuck am I here?
Yeah.
But so loose that it can change. Yeah. Well, that's good.
So I learned to do that, like just spend some time in the morning, because I like by the end of the first week I knew what was a comfortable drive time.
Sure.
In the bus.
Yeah.
Because it's more difficult driving one of these rigs.
Absolutely.
A school bus than like a car.
Or this van.
Yeah, because I mean I can drive a car all day long and be fine.
Yeah.
But driving the bus,
there's a lot of stress.
There's a ton of stress. So I didn't know that before I got on the road, but I learned that pretty quick. Like 400 miles in a day, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I'd find stuff about 400 miles, more or less.
Yeah.
You know, within that. My longest day was like 600 miles.
Yeah.
And that was pushing it.
Yeah.
Like I was super road buzzy.
Sure.
And that's not good.
No, it's not.
These things.
Not at all.
I didn't know I was super road buzzed
until you stopped.
Yeah, until I got out. I was just like,
oh shit. Yeah.
But like, my seat sucks.
Yeah.
It's a stock school bus seat from '98.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to get another seat.
Sure.
You know, something with an air ride on it.
Yeah.
Just to make that end of it a little more comfortable.
Sure. No, all of that adds to your stamina while driving.
Yeah. Totally. Like I really have to go out to the Midwest at some point because I got a bunch of family out there. So I'll see.
And you're supposed to come visit me.
Yeah. I'll see how well it does on the flats out there.
Yeah.
On the freeway, because I can get up to, like when I had the bus all stripped down to the bare bones and everything, I had that thing up to like 90.
Yeah.
But that's bare bones. There's nothing in it.
Right.
Because right now it sits at 8,100 pounds.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a fat van.
It's a tank.
Yeah, it's chubby. Well, that's what it is. It's actually a fat van. It's a van.
Yeah.
Chassis and everything.
Okay.
It's just it has about a foot on either side out past the normal, so it's a fat van.
Wow.
That's what the school shorty is. I don't know. I mean, what's your biggest takeaway since being like in a van like this kind of rig? Like, how much different is it for you?
Well, considering before it was in a vehicle like a Honda Element or back in the day my Ford pickup truck, and I was hauling camping gear everywhere. So I had the bins of camp gear, the stove, the mess kit, and everything. I still have all that.
Yeah.
It's just under this bench, and
Yeah.
I don't have to unload it to move things around, to sleep in the Element. Yeah. So
You don't have to rebuild your rig every single time.
Yeah, the only thing I have to do is slide my bed into place to give me some open room while I'm moving.
Right.
But like tomorrow, I won't put the bed away. I'll just drive around wherever with it open. It's not safe, but I'm up here in Estes where I'm only doing 35 miles an hour anyhow.
You're fine. Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. It's much easier just to have everything ready to roll. And when with that, you're done with a trip and you have your car and you got to take out all the camping equipment, put it away. Next time you want to go somewhere, you got to load it all back in. This thing's ready to go.
Yeah.
All the time.
For the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. Like any electronics, I take it out because the van gets hot.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like clothes and
perishables and stuff
yeah,
like that.
the cooler, it's all my mess kit, everything is ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's what I like about the bus right now, because I am living in it right now, full time.
Yeah.
It's parked at a house.
Mm-hmm.
I get Wi-Fi and everything there, but I'm living in it.
Yeah. And just so you're clear, this isn't white privilege. I'm 53, and it took me a lifetime to get to this van. It's not like I just decided to do it. No, this is a lifetime of working toward this level of vagabond traveling.
Yeah. No, and I sold a 1968 Ford Galaxy 500.
Yeah.
For the starting funds to be able to get this bus.
Yeah, and you milled all your stuff, and we mentioned that in episode 1. We both salvage a lot of shit for our builds, just to save on money, because we can't afford to do this.
Well, and for like 90% of what my build is, like I was working 3 jobs and building that thing at the same time.
Right. And because gas is so expensive, I'm not sleeping in hotel rooms. I'm not eating in restaurants.
Right.
I've got enough money to pay for the gas for this trip and brought all my pantry items to eat.
Yeah.
So totally doing it on the low end. Yeah.
And it's easy, man. I can eat ramen and eggs for
Right.
days.
Right? Parking friends' properties. And
Yeah, absolutely.
have you been thinking about other trips, or are you just really just in the mindset of your leg and healing? And
Healing.
yeah.
For sure. And the original idea was work through the summer, save up a bunch of money, and then I was going to go down to Baja, Mexico for the winter and spend a few months down there in like our coldest part of the season up here.
Mm-hmm.
And then come back up and keep on working through next summer
Right.
and everything like that. But now, since this happens, that's 8 weeks of money not coming in.
Yeah.
So I got to stick around for the winter time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be parked and living in the bus for the winter. Up here.
Yeah.
Because I got a solid
And of
job.
course, in the wintertime, you're not going to make as much as you would have in the summer.
No.
Just because of tippage and,
All
customers coming in, and that sucks.
But I'm not spending anything on rent now.
That is true. That's good.
So.
Folks don't charge you for a parking spot.
No, they don't charge. Because I was doing a lot of chores around the house, cutting and stacking wood and just a lot of the stuff.
Helping.
Yeah, because my folks are getting older, and so I'm able to help out a lot there, and so it's a good trade.
But
now I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And then I want to drive the one down the coast.
Yep.
I think that'd be fun.
That's an admiral goal.
66.
Mm-hmm.
Just back roads, like screw the freeways.
Yeah.
Like, my rig is not freeway.
Right. Right.
This is not.
Well, and it's more interesting off the freeway.
Yeah.
Freeway is just for getting from point A to point B as fast as you fucking can.
Exactly. And I want to stop at a lot of the junkyards because we've been shooting junkyards
forever.
Forever. And I did get some junk cars, some rusty gold on my last trip, but that was another thing that I was just like, before the trip, I was going to be like, I'm going to pull over here, like wherever I see something, like an old building, truck, something. Like, I'm just going to pull over. Not as easy.
Yeah.
It's totally not easy.
Right.
Depending on the road and stuff like that, you're like...
It's not even easy in the van.
No, well, I mean, just in general. Like, I can't just slam on the side of the road and, like, hook a Yui. Because sometimes there's just nowhere to pull over for miles
Yeah.
after you see that one thing, and then by the time you get down to a spot you can
You're
pull
just
over.
like, ah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Might as well keep going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just need to be better about like actually committing to it.
Yeah.
Be like, fuck it, I'm gonna jump on these brakes and get over.
Yeah.
If I can. I don't have a semi behind me or something like that.
Right.
You know. So, like, I do need to get better, and especially when I get the tintype camera running too.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what I want to do with that. You know, spend a half an hour, 45 minutes on the side of the road.
Right.
Developing a picture.
Yeah.
That I just taken of an old barn or something like that.
Sure, sure.
So that bugged me on not being in it like that.
Yeah.
Especially because that was a major part of the plan on the whole road trip, is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't end up doing it because I was nervous about just pulling over.
Yeah.
Which is a legitimate concern too.
Absolutely.
In a lot of things too. Oh, and then like the shoulder on the side of the roads, like when I'm pulling over a million times to let people pass.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I could just barely get my right tire over that white line because there was like,
sure,
you know, that steep a drop off.
Yeah.
To the pull, because there's a pull out, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And I hit a couple of those, and that bus was like pucker worthy.
Yeah.
Seriously, pucker worthy a couple times, and it's just like, I'm gonna tip this bus over just to let some people pass.
Yeah.
But be aware, like sometimes you just can't get over.
Right.
But sometimes those RVers are real assholes, and they just don't want to pull over. Oh, and that's another thing on my bus. I figured out both my cats are rattling.
Oh.
So you're talking about your dash rattling?
Yeah.
My cats rattle the whole time, and so I got to get
Rat
new.
cattle.
Oh my god.
Rat cattle? Cattle
It's
rats?
so bad. It's so annoying. Like again, it distracts.
Yeah.
From everything. So I got to replace my whole exhaust because my muffler, it's a bus muffler because they have to sit there and idle out in front of schools and stuff like that. So
Warm
it's
up.
like it's overkill.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, this big around by this big, it's like 300 pounds of just
wow.
sheer awfulness.
Yeah.
And then I have 2 cats on that too, and it just a lot. I just need to strip it down and clean it out.
Yeah.
Just do like, I don't know, cherry bombs on them, straight pipe, glass packs.
Right.
Okay. It'd be a loud cabin instead of just a loud, slow cabin on the road. Fast cabin. Slow bus.
Slow bus, fast cabin.
Yep.
We didn't really get to finish up this interview. We got interrupted by someone who was staying on Ed's property and didn't recognize my van. So he kind of was checking us out. And by the time we were done talking about things, it was just time to pack it up and go. So thanks to Pete for completing the podcast with me with his repeat episode. So with that, here's some more road footage. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next time with more stories from the road.